So I just got done watching Severance Season 2 finale, and oh my god, that was probably one of the best things I've ever seen ever. I actually think that's probably one of the best things I've ever seen ever. I know that's obviously such a massive statement to make, considering the amount of amazing TV series and shows that we have nowadays, and films and everything. But obviously, it's so fresh in my mind, and I have just completely, my head just fell off watching that. Completely fell off. I don't remember ever having that much of an intense experience whilst watching something for a very long time anyway. The only other time that I've felt that way, that I remember, there's been obviously plenty of times throughout of my whole life watching things, but in a TV series, the only thing that I've ever really felt that way, the way that I've just felt, is the end of Severance Season 1. That I was so on the edge of my seat. My brain, I was like, what is gonna happen? I can't handle this. I was like that with Season 1, the ending of Season 1. There was some episodes in Game of Thrones when that was out. I used to love Game of Thrones, still do love it. Obviously it ended shit. But anyway, when it was good, some of the episodes in there, I had that feeling. And I don't remember really having that much of a feeling in any other TV shows. But this finale of Season 2 is up there with one of the best things I've ever seen. I would say the whole series is as a whole. The writing is just so well written. The dialogue, the characters, the fact that we have... By the way, this is going to be a full spoilers review. I probably won't go into it too much because I haven't really planned this out. I just really wanted to record my reactions and I guess my review of the finale. So I'm probably not going to go into every single thing that's happened in the season, just sort of have a bit of a rant about how much I love this. But the fact that this show has been able to write these characters, the innies, and make them feel like completely separate characters to the outies, even though you know they're the same person. But in the world of Severance, they really aren't. They're their own person. They have their own lives, their own feelings, their own dreams, their own experience completely. And the fact that the showrunners and the writers, and of course Ben Stiller, who's I don't even know exactly Ben Stiller's role behind it. I know he's the director. I think he's the producer. I guess that's it. But I don't think he's a writer, or maybe he does. Either way, point is the fact that all these guys collectively have been able to pull this off in such a well done way it's just amazing. I really, really think that this is one of the best TV shows ever. The story of Severance is just so fascinating. I love everything about it. There's so many layers to it. Season 1 had so many layers, and it was just an amazing series. One of my favourite shows I'd ever watched. When I finished watching Season 1, that ending was incredible. And then Season 2 felt like we just got added loads more layers to everything. Every character felt like they got loads more layers added to their stories individually, on top of already the layers that were already created in Season 1 of all the questions that we were trying to find out. Like, Gemma, how is she alive? What's going on? What is Lumen? What are they doing? What's all these numbers that they're doing? What are they working on? Just everything. Helena being Helena Egan, just what is happening there? Like, why is she choosing to be an innie? There were so many different questions. I'm literally naming a small handful of them, but there's just so many. And then Season 2 just felt like we just got thrown in the deep end of all of it, and it was just so well done. But I'm here to mainly talk about the ending, the ending of Season 2. Wow, I can't believe what I've just watched. This video is probably just me ranting and just not even really explaining much or going into detail about stuff. I just feel so excited and blown away by what I've just watched. I just wanted to do a video on it. So first of all, we get the opening of Innie Mark having to have the conversation with Outie Mark, and Outie Mark is asking Innie Mark to basically go and sacrifice himself to free Gemma, his wife. But Innie Mark doesn't know Gemma, and Innie Mark doesn't trust Outie Mark because Outie Mark put him in this hell of a prison. So he doesn't trust anyone. And all he wants to do is to be with Helia. It's just such a mindfuck watching that like play out, to see both of them who is the same person, but to you it's two different people, and you feel so much for both of them. That's the thing. You feel so much for Mark because you want him to have his life and you want him to be with Helia, and then you want Mark to be able to have Gemma because of everything he's gone through. But they both want separate things, and if Mark gets Gemma and Mark gets sacrificed, that's it. Helia's not going to be around. But then it doesn't matter, because that's the thing. It doesn't matter because Mark and Mark are the same fucking person. But we want it to be separate. It's just bizarre. It's like, what's going on? So that was it was really, really well done. The editing of just how they were switching in between the conversations, how the conversation played out was just so fascinating and so interesting. I was just thinking, what is going on here? Like, this is bizarre. Then we get the huge reveal from Harmony Corbell, that basically, this is where I'm probably going to get... I understand it in my brain, but explaining it is going to be quite difficult. But basically, we've got the reveal as to what all the numbers are, and it's all to do with these different... Well, this is where I'm going to get a little bit confused, is the different personalities that Gemma's being put through. All the different... It's codes to her mind, to her emotions, going through these experiences. Is that right? Because I kind of understand it in my brain, but when I try to speak it, it doesn't work. It doesn't sound right. But and I understand what it is, just I can't explain it. If any of you watching it have watched the finale, you can let me know in the comments below. But actually, maybe don't, because that'll spoil it for everyone, and I really don't want anyone getting spoiled for this. Anyway, I know what's going on. Kinda. But the huge reveal that we got with what the numbers mean was crazy to think that Mark's been spending his whole time sending Gemma to death, basically. He's been working all that time to basically kill his wife. It's mental. Because once Cold Harbor was completed, Gemma was going to be wiped out. However they would have done that, I don't know. Would they have just shot her? It's this again. There's questions like we don't understand fully what they would have done with her. Well, I don't fully understand, but it's just crazy to think that that's what was going on with Gemma, and Mark was basically the person who was going to make it happen. It's fucking mental. Then just everything that happened in that last part of I guess the last 3/4 of the episode, and then everything else that just happens after that. Mark goes back to Mark's suddenly back at the severed floor. He sees the Kia statue inside the office, which is just watching them, which is weird. Kia's definitely in there. It's definitely got. So he's been uploaded. Lumen somehow uploaded his consciousness into being still alive, and that's him. He's got to be in there, because the way that he was communicating with Milchek, it just, to me, I think that he's in there. So, but that was weird, just having him there anyway, and he's just there observing Mark completing this thing that he's doing. Then obviously when Mark finally completes it and Gemma enters the room, which is so messed up, clearly what they're doing is they're trying to create basically a cure to switch people off from having any pain or suffering. That's why Gemma's been constantly going through these different experiences in different rooms, like obviously Cold Harbor's the end one, but all the different 25 rooms that she's been in of different personalities, experiencing different sorts of pain, uncomfortableness, loss, sadness. Like when she's on the aeroplane, she's like scared and she's like stuck on a plane falling down, or turbulence. Then she's like hurting her wrist and she's sick of going through this boring, mundane task. And whatever it was clearly showing they're trying to eliminate people from, just to be able to give people this, I guess, the chip, the severed chip, which will allow them to go through any pain and suffering, and Lumen basically can just get rid of it all for them. They won't have to ever suffer again. That's what I think is actually, well, I think that's basically the point of it. But yeah, I can't even remember where I was going because I've lost train of thought, because my brain's going absolutely mental. Yeah, so what was messed up was Gemma getting given the last one with Cold Harbour. She's wearing her clothes that she used to wear. She goes into this room, which is the same cot of a baby that she lost when she had the miscarriage, that Mark was having to like undo and take apart. So obviously that's a real strong memory for her as Gemma. But they were all sat there watching her go into this room, and they were loving the fact that she couldn't even remember what it was, and she was happy to just take it apart. Totally fine, because they knew at that point they smashed it. Severance works. This thing that they're doing, whatever it is, we've nailed it. We've literally eliminated the possibility of people having pain or suffering or the memory of it, and that was the completion of it. So all that going on, and then Mark having to escape, but then a huge band comes in. A big band comes into the room, starts playing all the drums and trumpets while Mr. Milchick's just doing stupid dancing. I was like, what the fuck is actually going on right now? This is ridiculous, but I love it. I just love it. It reminded me of the dance experience that they had in season 1, which was just one of the best moments in the series. I don't know why, because not that much. It was just a really fun moment. I liked everything in that, and again it felt like they sort of gone, okay, that would really work, let's do it again, but on a huge scale. It was so cool. And then Mark having to get away, go down and to figure out how to find the corridor that leads down into where Gemma's at. I forgot the floor name now. Anyway, that whole thing was so tense, because then we have the big fat guy, I can't remember his name. He's then goes into the room with a goat lady, and they're about to sacrifice a goat. That whole situation where Mark gets caught by him and starts getting beaten up, I was like, what is actually gonna happen here? This is going to so many different areas. I have no idea. I had no idea this was gonna happen. Then obviously Mark gets away because Goat Lady helps him. He then gets the gun, puts the guy in the elevator with him. This was hilarious. Mark's got in the elevator with a gun, and then when they're going down the elevator, Innie Mark's trying to tell him, look mate, when we get down here, my outie Mark's gonna, and then he starts like having the severance thing happen and accidentally shoots him in the neck. I was like, what the fuck is actually happening? I just couldn't believe it. It was so many things happening in one go. It felt like it was getting just crazier and crazier all the way through. Then we've got like outie Mark stood there covered in blood, and I'm thinking, what is going to happen now? Because how is he going to get away? Like, how is he going to get out of here? He's covered in blood. What happens when he gets out? Like, what happens to the fact he's killed his person? How is he going to get Gemma? Eventually, he manages to find his way into the room with Gemma, and this just stressed me out, because I just thought, she's never going to go with him. She doesn't know who he is. But she does, and I couldn't believe it. In that moment where she stops before she walks through the door, I was just going, please, 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 just walk through the door. Just do it. And she eventually did, but I thought it wasn't going to happen for a minute. It really stressed me out. I was shouting at the TV and everything. Also, I will mention, I really found it hilarious in 2 moments here where Mark and Gemma kiss in the elevator, and then they come upstairs and suddenly they're like both severed again and they don't even know what's going on. I really laughed at that bit. And then also when Mr. Milchick finally gets out of the bathroom and looks, the camera suddenly changes to like what the room's like, and the whole marching band's there with Dylan. I was just like, that is just, I loved it. But then we come to the final part of this episode, which was so stressful. It was so stressful. For every single thing was stressful about it. I was on the edge of my seat because he just got Gemma out. I'm thinking the whole way through it, he's not going to get her out. Something's going to interact. Something's going to stop them from getting out. Gemma gets out, and then Mark closes the door and doesn't leave with her. I was like, no way. Are you serious? Are you actually serious? So at this point, I'm desperate for him to leave with Gemma. I want him and Gemma to be together again. But then Helia comes down the corridor, and then I remembered, oh my god, no, I want actually Innie Mark to be with Helia. Who do I want him to be with? But I was thinking, he can't obviously stay in because he just can't. He has to leave. And he doesn't leave. He actually just turns his back whilst Gemma's screaming at the door for him. And he just runs off in this amazing end sequence with him and Helia just running through the corridors, just in love. First of all, what are they going to do? Where are they going to go? I have no idea what's going on. Secondly, is that actually outie Hellier? Helly. I keep saying Hellier. Helly. Yeah, what is going to happen? Is it actually innie Helly or outie Helly? And also, I don't know if you noticed, the last shot of Helly when Gemma's screaming through the window down the corridor, Helly smiles. She does a smirk to her. So I think that's probably her outie Helly. It's just such a blag. This is such a blag. But wow, what an amazing, amazing episode. I don't know what's going to come from this. I don't know how Gemma's going to get out. Imagine if she just gets captured and is brought back in again. There's so many possibilities, so many theories to come up with now. But this was 10 out of 10, one of the best things I've ever watched. Severance is one of the best shows I think I've ever seen. It's probably, for me, Game of Thrones was always my favourite. I just loved it. Even though we had the shit ending. But I would say Severance for me is my second favourite. There's loads of stuff that I love, but yeah, I think this is one of the best things I've ever watched. And it's probably one of the best things I've ever watched anyway as a whole. So that's my random ranting review. This probably isn't going to even be worth posting because it's just me just talking nonsense and just saying things that are coming to my brain. But hopefully you guys that have watched it are going to watch this video and enjoy it, get a laugh, and relate to some of the things I was saying, and maybe you feel the same way about me about the show. Fucking hell, my head is a little bit all over the shop right now. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Drop me a like if you did. Let me know down in the comments everything about Severance. I want to know all your thoughts. Let me know down below. And if you're new here and you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe. That'd be amazing. And yeah, thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you all on the next one. I'm actually sweating from that. I'm not excited. I've got that rounded up. I'm sweating. Anyway, see you later.